Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Football Fignuts podcast. This is Season 3, Episode 2 of Season 3, and if you're counting, this is Episode 102. I'm Craig.
I'm Britt.
I'm Cinch.
I'm Sean.
We're all back.
We're back for another week
Yes.
of rankings.
We're going to talk about running backs today.
We are.
And I'm going to do a lot less talking than I typically do and do a lot of wrangling. So if I point at you, it doesn't mean that I like you or you're doing something wrong. It just means you're next to talk. Have you ever watched the McLaughlin group?
Not in a
that
very
old
long
guy
time,
in the
but
middle
yes.
who'd be like, Joe Smith, tell me what you think about the president.
Wait,
Well, I
so
think next.
So he doesn't like those people?
I don't think
What
so.
was the Sunday morning sports thing?
Something. Oh, the sports reporters.
There, that's what it is.
We're like the. Oh my God, what was the name of the guy who? Dick Shapp was the guy who was. I'm Dick Shapp.
Jimmy
God,
the Greek.
I'm a
No,
lot
not him.
better looking than Dick Shapp. But we're gonna start where we always start. I have handed everyone a can, except
did.
I handed a can for Sean and Cinch to split because they have 17 beers over there. Sean, why don't you open up that can?
Bush.
When I've handed you a can of Critical Mass, this is a beer by who makes this?
The brewer.
Oh, there it is. Counterweight.
Yeah.
Counterweight. I totally blinked on this. Craig and I had this during season 2, but I don't think Cinch and Sean have tried this particular beer. This is amazing.
It's 8%.
It's a double. It's a double IPA. I like it a great deal. I actually bought a growler of it back for a podcast in episode 2, and I just happened to find it at a store this weekend, so I grabbed it.
I remember that episode, and I was thinking, I want to try that.
Well, you're gonna.
And I
can
never
try it.
did, and now I'm going to.
Well, go ahead, because I'd love
I'm
to hear what
gonna.
you think of it. We've already been on record about what we think about it, so I want to hear what Cinch and Sean think about it. So, Cinch, what do you got for me?
He's pondering.
This is my second favorite behind Double Ruffled Feathers.
Wow.
The banned
I like it
beer?
a lot.
We don't discuss double ruffled feathers.
You know, they made another
Really?
one.
You like this?
I love this.
What do you mean
This
they
is
made
really
another one?
good.
There's like another feathered ruffled one they made.
Oh, they made a couple of those, yeah.
Yeah.
So you really like
But
this?
you enjoy it,
I
huh?
like it a lot.
Wait,
it's
there's a
very good.
It's 8%. It's sneaky strong.
Tastes just like beer. I love that in a beer.
It's very smooth.
Sneaky strong.
And we just had the Ice Cream Man during the last episode. This I like even better than the Ice Cream Man.
What do you think, Sean?
I do like this better than Ice Cream Man, and it's definitely sneaky strong because it doesn't taste as, strong as you think it would be. I don't know
It's
if
definitely-
it's my second
it's
favorite
definitely
beer or my
fruitier.
favorite beer,
Yeah.
but it's
You could
very
rank 'em
good.
anywhere you
It's a
want.
very
They're
good
my
beer.
second
So now
favorite.
here's the thing. Counterweight beers notorious for being really high quality, really craft oriented, but much cheaper than your average craft beer. You can find Headway IPA, which is their signature IPA,
which is good. Yep.
yeah, in 4-pack, 16-ounce cans for under $10, and you can find them anywhere. A pack that would cost you $12 or $13 will cost you $9.99 with the counterweight. Even this, I think I paid $12 for the 4-pack.
That's not bad.
And a lot of the craft IPAs these days, you pay
Value
16, 17.
added.
Value
$18,
added.
yeah.
Where's the source? That's one of his favorite
Value
things to say.
added.
Value added. Well, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I'm sorry I didn't bring more of it, but I drank 2 of them last weekend, so that's why there's only 2 of them for us to split tonight. But Sean has more beer, so.
I like a beer that you could have 2 of and be done with it.
Beer.
Instead of Bud Light, where you have to just keep going and hope it
This
kicks in.
is
Like
that
Bud
beer.
Light Lime.
Yes.
Ball.
This is that beer. Last Sunday, after the big move, I was sitting on my couch and I was playing City of Heroes, which is an online MMORPG. And
That's back, baby.
it's back. And I had 2 of these. And by the end of the second one, I was calling our friend Deb. Hi, Deb.
Hi, Deb. Oh, no, we didn't say hi, Deb. in the
Oh,
other
that's
episode.
okay. We said it
Oh,
twice now. It's
no.
fine.
Hey,
I was
baby.
calling Deb Tom, which is her husband, and I was calling Tom Deb. So, yeah. Anyway, all right, burning hot takes. Let's move on to burning hot takes. I'm going to lead off because the last episode I kind of flew by mine, and mine takes some setup. So, everybody remembers Rodney Harrison, legendary Patriot,
Getting into the Patriot Hall of Fame in another couple of weeks.
currently a analyst, and I'll put that in air quotes because he shows up on Sunday night for 15 minutes, looks at Tony Dungy and then agrees with him and then goes off the air. On his recent or upcoming induction into the Patriot Hall of Fame, he recently did an interview in which he called out anti-Patriot bias in the NFL Hall of Fame. I want to give you a couple of the names he says are people who should be Hall of Famers that are not Hall of Famers because they have Patriot bias. And get
Okay.
ready, this is going to go downhill quick. And we have a Patriot fan in the room.
Yeah, I don't want to hear what he's going to say.
Quote, I'm like Ty Law was the greatest defensive back I've ever played with. He's one of the best I've ever seen. Richard Seymour, Willie McGinnis, Troy Brown, Kevin Falk. These dudes were bad dudes. They weren't just system guys. It's unfair when people say as long as you had Tom and Bill. Well, dude, Tom and Bill can't get it done by themselves. It takes a lot of really smart, great players. End quote. Richard Seymour, Willie McGinnis, Troy Brown, Kevin Falk. In 20 words or less, Hall of Famers? NFL Hall of Famers? Let's start with Sean.
All right, I'm going to go first.
Let's start with Cinch.
Go ahead.
Patriot fan, I got to go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Ty Law's getting in this year.
Fair enough.
Richard Seymour made it to the final 15 they do, final 10,
I'm
whatever
fine
it
with
is.
Richard Seymour.
Seymour is going to probably get in next year. It's hard to tell with a defensive tackle how good they are, but he made the final whatever, so he's probably going to get in.
Okay.
McGinnis, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Kevin Falk was a great player for a team. He's in the Patriot Hall of Fame. Troy Brown was a great player to have on your team.
Okay.
Neither one of them are NFL Hall of Fame, but they are guys when they're on your team, they're among your favorite players. If they're not on your team, you don't even know. You may be heard of the name, but they don't stand out.
So before we move on, I just want to point out Troy Brown and Kevin Falk combined for one career Pro Bowl in almost 20 years of playing.
But I could give you endless game plays where they made a difference in the game. Well, I'm saying when they're on your team.
But I could do that for anybody.
But I'm not putting them in the NFL Hall of Fame. I'm
That's
saying
what I'm
when
saying.
they're
I
on your
Put the
team.
mid-'80s Bears. I could put a whole bunch of them in the Hall of Fame.
A whole bunch of them are in the Hall of Fame.
His point is those four people deserve to be in the NFL Hall of Fame, and that the fact they're not is because of anti-patriot bias. So buy it or no. Is there an anti-patriot bias against Kevin Falk, and that's why he's not in the NFL Hall of Fame?
No.
Sean.
I have to compliment Cinch for being pretty level-headed there. I agree. There's definitely, Ty Law is definitely obviously Hall of Famer. McGinnis probably will be in the Hall of Fame. But Troy Brown, Kevin Falk, no.
These guys were great when they're on your team. They're not Hall of Fame.
They're great system.
Yeah, we're talking about Hall of Fame or the Patriot Hall of Fame?
We're talking about the NFL Hall of Fame. Rodney Harrison is specifically saying they are NFL Hall of Famers and that they are not in because of anti-patriot bias.
Okay, the NFL loves the Patriots, so I don't even think that's an issue. I think that's just
come
him.
on,
I think that's just him being upset.
And the NFL hates the Bengals.
No, the NFL.
Everyone hates the Bengals.
NFL loves the Patriots.
Oh,
All
and
the
that,
news
and that's
outlets
come
love
on,
the
the Patriots get
Patriots.
suspended left and right. Well, the NFL loves the Chiefs because Hill didn't get suspended.
No. Everyone just loves
Hill didn't
Patriots.
get suspended
People
because
are
he's
just
married
lined
to a
up for
witch.
Tom Brady autographs while he's jumping off a cliff with his kids. It doesn't matter.
No, wait,
Everyone
wait,
loves them.
I want to stop there. Tom Brady didn't jump off a cliff with his kid. He jumped off a cliff and dragged his kid, almost dislocating their arm. And that's not his fault. She said, I want to jump. Are you sure? Yeah, we're going to count down. And when it hit 0, she chickened out. And if he had let go, she'd be dead. And that's not a joke. There were rocks directly underneath him. He pulled her out. And yes, he risked her shoulder, but she would have died because she sat there and said, yup. Oh, wait, no. You can't do that in cliff jumping. All right.
So, no.
End of my question. Who's next?
Sean,
burning hot take.
All right. Well, I was told I can't use the same question in the.
You can't sit there and ask about the offensive line for every position. So, what are you gonna do when you get the defense? So, does the offensive line affect your ranking of defensive teams?
So, my question with running backs: how much does strength of schedule matter to you in picking your running back?
See, he's really the same question.
The wide receiver episode is going to be, how much does yards after the catch matter to you?
I have won a couple of championships going by picking, again, if they're close, picking who has a better schedule at the end of the year and during the playoffs.
He's going to draft a Brown player.
I'll answer your question. For me, it's 0.0. Strength of schedule does not matter in my rankings.
Okay. It has mattered to me
either.
It has mattered to me.
It doesn't matter to me, but you're not wrong. It's just I don't go into that level of analysis, and that's why.
I've done it with running backs.
Although last time
I've done it. I haven't done it with.
It's just 2 episodes in a row.
I haven't gone to that kind of analysis.
There's anything wrong with that.
I haven't gone to that kind of analysis on other positions, but I have done that with running backs.
Okay,
Wow.
No?
here's my hot
Nobody
take
else
question.
has done
Yeah,
it.
moving
No.
on to Cinch.
My
Cinch,
hot
what do you
take
got?
I'm
question.
sorry. All right.
I
No, don't be
believe
sorry. Just it's an easy question to answer. Go ahead.
very
Cinch.
well thought out. You're wrong.
Yeah.
My top 2 running backs
Yeah.
have potential to have not a lot of offensive targets on their team, not a very good quarterback situation on their team. So that means you're going to have 10 guys in the box. My 2 guys I'm talking about are McCaffrey and Barkley for the Giants and the Panthers.
You have McCaffrey at 3, so he's in your top
My
3.
point being, McCaffrey could be the number 1 running back.
Could be, yes.
I might draft him number 1 out of running backs.
Okay.
Because my question is, you've got Saquon Barkley with no offense around him. That's got to drop him. He can't be the number 1 overall pick when there are no receivers, tight ends, or quarterbacks to help him. So my question is, does that affect it? Is he going to move down for you? Is he the number 1 guy with all of that being told? Is he still your number 1 pick?
He was never my number 1. So that's
Okay,
there's your first answer. So I have him at number 2. I had him at number 2 before, but part of the reason I have him at number 2 is because the Giants are so woeful that you can stack the box on virtually every play. And the recent injuries to Sterling Shepard, I almost call him Sterling Sharp again. The recent injuries to Sterling Shepard
And Corey Coleman.
and Coleman. What happened to Coleman? Oh, that's right. He
Tore
tore his
his
ACL.
He's done.
He
Oy
wasn't
vey.
a big part of the team.
Yeah, but
Still.
Eli can't throw it that far for him to catch it anyway.
right. But at this point, I think Saquon's got to be downgraded. Craig, what's your thoughts on Saquon?
I'm kind of torn, especially with everything that's going on with
Yes.
Zeke. So, I mean, he's still a really talented running back. But again, just like Cinch said, they can just put 10 people in the box and stop him. So
That's
it's rough.
Sean.
He's busy. Come back to
What was
him.
the hot take question? Sorry.
All right,
I'm
put
sorry.
the phone down,
Sorry.
Adam Schefter. Put the phone down.
I'm getting valuable information.
You are
right
not
now.
getting valuable information. You're
He's
tweeting with your
done it
wife.
with running backs.
No, his wife's a Giants fan. That's why.
Oy.
Yeah.
Well
Is
said.
there something you'd like to share with the rest of us, Amazing Larry? Okay, now
It's
seriously.
gonna be hard to choose Gordon or Elliott because of their. So there you go. There's it.
Well, you can't argue with that. It's nothing to do with what we were talking
Yeah,
about.
what are you
but you
talking
can't
about?
argue with
That thump you just heard was my head hitting the microphone, just so you know.
What was the hot take question? Damn it!
The hot take question is how much time is Sean going to look at his phone this particular...
Oh my god.
Okay, no, we're moving on. Who else has a hot take for us? Got 2
Wow.
more minutes.
All right.
Craig.
Well, my question, I want to know, especially from Britt. I want to know.
Oh, man.
I want to know what Jerry Jones is going to do about Jerry Jones's Dallas Cowboys because Jerry Jones's running back isn't coming to Jerry Jones's practice because Jerry Jones's running back wants more money from Jerry Jones.
I did pick up the phone, and I called Jerry Jones, and I talked to Jerry Jones' secretary, whose name is Jerry Jones. And she told me that Jerry was on Jerry Jones' private jet and was not speaking to anyone until Jerry Jones spoke to Ezekiel Elliott to find out why Zeke would dare to disappoint Jerry Jones. And all of Jerry Jones's players on Jerry Jones's plane on their way to Jerry Jones's practice facility. So I'm curious to see what happens. In response to the real part of that question, which is how bad is the Zeke issue,
Right.
The Cowboys have a pretty good history of playing short-term hardball. Never forget the year that Emmitt Smith held out and missed 4 games and still led the league in rushing.
The chick.
Yes, there's a great story behind that we don't have time for now. But
Here's what I think's going to happen.
yeah,
Zeke's going to get a suitcase with $10 million cash in the trunk of his car during practice, and then he's going to show up the next day.
the question is how long is that going to take to happen? Are we looking into the season before that happens? Because Jerry
No,
has done
not
that
in
before.
Dallas. You're not. No,
No, I don't think so.
that's what I think. And no one will know about that suitcase I just
In-
talked about,
In San Diego, it might take
except
that long.
me. I will know. No
I
one
have
else will know.
significant concerns about Gordon. I'm reevaluating my position on Gordon. I am
Yep.
significantly concerned. So
Real quick though,
Yeah.
do you think there's an NFL player looking at what Le'Veon Bell did last year and saying, "Yeah, that's the way to go"?
I think
'Cause
Michael
every
Thomas
Running
is.
backs.
Every analyst though killed it. They said, "Look, all he's doing is losing money. That's all that he did last year."
I think this year is going to be a big decider on that. If he lights the universe on fire and he's good for the Jets and he leads to a Jet resurgence and they win 9 or 10 games, and they
Yeah.
make a run at a playoff, it's hard to argue against it. But I don't think it's going to happen.
No matter what he does this year, he still cost himself, what was it, 17 million, 14 million? That money's gone.
But
he could have showed up in week 6.
Again, but if he hurt himself, he cost himself.
He could have showed up in week 6 and been a malcontent who didn't see the playing field, sat there and pouted like a little baby. He still would have gotten that $1 million lottery, 14 million, whatever the amount was.
Are you comparing him to Barry Foster?
I would never do such a
Never
thing.
mention that name on this podcast again.
Charlie Batch was
ever.
a great backup.
All right.
Britt, go!
All right,
Fucking
really
Barry
quick
Foster.
before we move on.
God damn it.
All right. Barry Foster
Fucking I'm
or
out of beer,
Baker
God
Mayfield,
damn it.
who do you hate more?
Yes.
Corey Dillon.
Since, you know what, after that, I feel like we need to reach into the mystery bag and
I've
give
got it.
something to Craig.
There we go.
What have you got in the mystery bag for us in the second episode here?
All right. I picked this up because it's from Stamford, Connecticut.
Is that
this
from Half
is
Full?
Within Reach. That's the name of the beer, Within Reach.
Peach
I have not.
wheat ale.
Have I been to Half
Peach
Full?
wheat ale.
I haven't been.
I
Have you?
haven't been.
It's in
It's like a
Stanford.
warehouse.
I have
Pour-
been to
pour
Half
some
Full.
for Craig
Okay.
and
You know what? When we went to
You can have
ConCon,
Okay.
when we went to ConCon, we stopped at Half Full, and yes, it's a little hole in the wall. It's very nice on the inside, but when we parked there, my wife looked at me and went, "I think we're going to die here." So, and then we got inside.
So
and it's
go
really
during
nice.
the day.
Go during the day. It was nice though. So, all right. So really quick, Within Reach. What kind of beer is this? It's a wheat.
It's a peach white.
I'm not
peach
gonna like
wheat
this.
wheat
ale.
ale.
Good thing you
Oh
only-
my god! It reeks of peach. It reeks.
Good thing you have a taster glass then.
Oh my god. Oh,
Do you
I'm
not-
scared.
Do you not like
Happily
peach?
hazy and highly
Do you
crushable.
not like peach?
I'm
or
not a fan of peach.
in general.
This beer combines
Like,
a
if I gave you a
subtle,
peach, you
fruity
wouldn't like it.
nose
No.
and
I'm the
flavors
first
of
one to-
peach.
Let's all talk at the same time.
Sorry. I'm the first one to taste it. I don't taste a lot of peach.
Oh,
I
he's
can
right.
smell the peach.
Yeah,
does
the
But I
nose.
don't
peach.
taste it.
The
It's all
nose
peach.
is really peachy, and no, it's a wheat beer taste with just a little bit of tartness.
Yeah.
I get no peach. It's really, really light.
My wife would
Did you
like
say
this.
wheat beer or weak beer?
Wheat.
Wheat.
It tastes pretty weak.
There you go.
Compared to the beers we had, yes. Yes. it
Speaking
does.
of weakness, let's talk about the running backs.
All right.
So
All right.
I have the consensus list in front of me, and there are little cliffs that you just slide down. So I'm gonna compare this to it's like the opposite. Remember the Price is Right had that little dude. If you got to,
Yeah, that guy.
Okay, so yes, you know what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
we know what he's talking about.
imagine him going the other way, except with sharp drops and jagged edges along the way.
yeah,
And
that
that's
would
what
be-
talking about the running backs is like.
The tears, baby. The tears.
So at the top of our list, the consensus number one is Saquon Barkley, which we just talked about. Everyone in this room ranked him at number one except me and Craig. So Cinch, you brought him up during the Burning Hot Takes. You expressed concern about him there, but he's still the number one on your board according to the list you gave me. Help us understand.
He's the best talent. All things being equal, put him on another team, he could break records for receiving and rushing yards.
Okay. Sean, why did you put him at one?
Eli Manning could not pass his way out of a one-sided paper bag, and that's why it's
That's
tough.
fair.
It's gonna be a volume thing. It's his volume is gonna be so much. I know they're gonna stack the box. I know, everything. I mean, Sterling Shepard going down. Yeah, maybe it drops him a little bit lower, but I think he's still number one. Well,
just
just
channel
because
a
there's
demon?
not another target to take something away if he has to miss time. I mean. But he's just gonna get so much volume. It's gonna be hard to duplicate. I think.
So Craig, why isn't he your number one?
Partly because of what Sean just said, volume. I think it's going to be really easy for him to burn out this year.
But he's so young.
He is, but still, you give him the ball that many times, he's going to get hit that
He didn't
many
burn
times.
out last year.
Craig, do you remember when you
Neither
were
did
that
Jamal
young?
Charles the year he carried the ball a ton, but the next year he struggled.
This
Right.
guy's 22 years
Doesn't
old.
matter. Like,
Charles
everyone
is a
know
little
that now that
24,
they have
25.
two broken receivers.
And he's a little different than Jamal Charles.
And they only have
Yeah,
they
Charles is
really
better.
have no other offensive weapons other than him. People are going to gun for him.
Yes,
Like,
I want to defend what you're saying by saying this. He was in the same situation last year, even
think
with
so, yeah.
Odell Beckham Jr. there. He was in the same situation. because Manning can't throw the ball downfield enough with accuracy, so it doesn't matter who the receiver is. So you're looking at everything the same as last year. So if Saquon put up X numbers last year, there's no reason to think he can't put up the same numbers this year.
Okay. Now
And
the
he's
guy.
from Penn State. You know.
Oh, no,
Hey,
that
hey,
bias.
oh, hey.
I remember courtesiness.
Okay.
See?
Well,
Thank you, John F. Carter.
the guy we have at number 2, who's only number 2 by 1 point, is because we all have him at Craig and I have him at number 1. Sean and Cinch have him at number 2, and that's Ezekiel Elliott. So, Craig, tell me why, even with the holdout, which just happened.
It just happened before these rankings were made.
Does that change this? Does he drop anywhere for you?
He might drop a spot for me.
He doesn't for me. That's why I asked.
Maybe.
Sean and Cinch, why does Zeke come in at 2 for you or behind Barkley?
Maybe it's the I don't believe they're going to hold out kind of thing. You're talking to a man in one league out of many, though. I did just say, oh, you know what? Le'Veon Bell's going to come back. So I did draft Le'Veon Bell, even though he was holding out.
No, but the question was, why wasn't he 1? Why'd you put him 2?
Well, there's part of that reason right there is because...
Here's the easy answer. The easy answer is he's 1 over Barkley for the exact reasons we just talked about. His quarterback is better. The wide receiver core is better. The offensive line is better.
Okay.
The defense is better. His volume is not going to match Barkley's. I completely agree. Yeah. But the quality of touches, the yards after contact, the opportunities in the goal line are all going to surpass Barkley.
I agree with everything you said.
Except
there's only one part that wasn't better, and that's the running back himself. Barkley is better than Elliott.
See, I don't think he is.
On an equal footing,
I think he could be.
Everything isn't equal. Barkley is a better receiver. Barkley is a better rusher.
Oh, he's definitely the better receiver.
So then we hit cliff number 1 after Barkley and Elliott, and we all have the consensus number 3, which most of us had at number 3 or number 4 right? 3 or 4. Yeah, we had a couple of folks had him at number 4. Is Christian McCaffrey. So again, this seems to be some sort of like bizarre kind of like grouping where 2 of us decide we're not going to rank somebody. In this case, it is Sean and Craig. They both have McCaffrey at 4. No, you have McCaffrey at 4, buddy. You have your heterosexual life mate at number 3.
His boy crush.
Yeah, his boy crush. We haven't talked about him yet.
Right.
So, Sean, explain to me why you would not rank Christian McCaffrey at number 3. Why would you? All right, so you know what? Let's just do this. Hold on. Yeah. Number 3 and number 4. We have McCaffrey at consensus 3 and Alvin Kamara at consensus number 4.
Yep.
Sean and Craig both have Kamara at 3.
Yep.
Yes.
Cinch and I both have Kamara at 4.
Right.
So I want to hear from Craig and Sean first. Why is McCaffrey not better than Kamara? And then Cinch and I will tell you why you're wrong.
I'm going to give the argument that Cinch made, where I just think that Kamara's team is better, so he's going to have a better opportunity there. Where McCaffrey, it's going to be more on him. So he's going to be facing a lot more stacked boxes than Kamara is.
I think Kamara's going to see a lot of stacked boxes.
There's
really that. With Thomas and
Michael
Drew
Thomas
Brees
and I love Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas does a lot of slot, does a lot across the middle, short ranges, stuff that the linebackers can cover. I don't think you're going to see as much drop back, except when you have the Traquan Smith, blitzing down the side. I don't think you're going to see that much. And we've never seen Kamara be a feature back by himself.
So my thing has to do more with Cam Newton.
He plays for neither of these. Oh, that's right.
Christian McCaffrey is a receiving running back like Alvin Kamara, but Cam had reconstructive surgery on his shoulder, and now he's on
the 5th time.
Now he's on a count for throws, like a pitcher. So that
which they're denying.
Yeah,
but I agree. I believe that.
So
I believe
that,
and McCaffrey's definitely but short throws. Can he do the short throws? I don't know.
He can, but see, my thing is with the whole evasion thing. Like Alvin Kamara is going to juke people more than Christian McCaffrey is.
Cinch, why McCaffrey over Kamara?
I think it's important to point out that anyone would be happy with either guy on their team.
God,
Yes.
There's very small difference.
It's not like I don't like
But
this
if you
guy or I don't
had
like that
the
guy.
third pick and it was Kamara and McCaffrey,
I would take McCaffrey, but I
Okay.
mean they're close. It's
close.
They are the same type
You're not
of running
losing
back.
with either one. It's just what you're looking for.
Especially
just
All
a
right,
feeling.
So
It's just
Cam
a feeling
Newton,
sometimes.
Cam Newton has a bad arm. Well, that's not going to stop him from throwing a 7-yard pass
Check
to
down.
the running back.
Check
that's
down.
that's going to increase the check down pass to the
Probably,
running back.
maybe.
But then what
yeah.
happens if Cam can't? What happens? He gets hurt and can't throw. Who's their backup?
Who cares? Because
But-
at that point,
but
you're
going.
screwed.
But you
well,
have
wait,
to do.
wait. I'm gonna jump in there really quick. That might help because if you have to bring the backup in, what are you
Even
going to tell
more
him? Are you going to tell
checkdowns.
him launch downfield or go to the reliable McCaffrey option in the short passes?
And-
that
and-
argument helps McCaffrey.
Any backup quarterback that gets into a game, they don't look at here's my number one option, here's my number two option, here's my number three. They look at the number one option. Okay, throw it to the running back.
Yes, that's exactly my point. He might see increased volume because of that, and his numbers would go up in
You
a PPR.
you can't lose with either guy.
Right.
My opinion, I would take McCaffrey.
Sean, you had something before we move on.
No, that was it. That was. I mean, it's a feeling. You know. I mean, who's you do your analysis, and at some point it becomes what you're feeling. What have you seen? What do you think is going to be a better option here? You know, is Kamara going to have more receiving? If you're in a PPR, obviously this is PPR rankings. I think. Are you going to have?
All right, the
So you're
phone's got to be put away. Whatever's going on over there is distracting us.
So are you
I'm
gonna
going to
have-
move on. I'm going to move forward.
Okay.
So we've
Poor
got our
Sean,
first.
I'm sorry.
We've got our first two. We've got Barkley and Elliott on the top tier. Then we slip a little bit. We find McCaffrey and Kamara. Then you tumble down the rabbit hole.
Juju.
Then it's God knows where.
And that's the thing. I sit here and say, okay, why do we rank this person? It's important to note that those four guys were our top four guys across the board.
Who's number 5?
And that's an interesting point. Number 5
You
is
know
somebody
who it
where we
is.
start to have some disagreement because
choo.
Craig and I are both on the train.
Get on the train,
And
baby.
number 5 is Joe Mixon.
Get on the train.
Craig is forbidden from talking in this segment. I love the potential for Joe Mixon. I know the offensive line is a mess. I know Andy Dalton is incapable of a coherent thought. I know AJ Green sits there and dreams he was playing for the Browns. But I'm telling you, I gotta feel everything about Mixon and everything about the metrics from the first year tell me he is gonna break out this year. Somebody tell me why I'm wrong, not you.
I'm agreeing
Mixon
with you.
is good. He's got a lot of talent. When you're down by 21 in the second quarter, how many times are you going to run the ball?
But I think he's going to catch a lot of passes then. I think that's where the PPR thing comes in.
From a guy who's not accurate.
So,
Well, he's in 5-yard passes. I mean, we can hit him where he throws to Joe Mixon.
so you're talking about people on the train here, but I have after our first 4, 3 people ahead of him. I have Gurley, Gordon, and Bell. Again, and it's all ifs. Gordon, if Gurley's knee is really good, if Gordon doesn't
Shows
hold
up.
out, and if Bell, after a
knows?
year being out, can be good. So,
And that leads me to our next guy really quick is Melvin Gordon. We have Melvin Gordon, even though we knew he was going to hold out. No one is surprised by that. We have him at number 6. And Cinch had him higher than all of us, but we were all in the same ballpark on him. I think this, and now we're hearing reports, the holdout is going to be longer than expected. Are you keeping Gordon where you had him, or are you moving him down? Because I'm thinking about moving him down a spot or 2.
I would drop him. This
him.
was before the holdout.
This was before
when
the hell
we did our
became
rankings.
official.
Yeah.
This is when he started talking about it. But a lot of guys talk about not coming to camp and then show up.
I would swap him for he who should not be named here.
We're going to talk about him in a minute.
oh god,
David Johnson.
last
last season,
that far down. I don't know.
No, but listen, last season he had
It wasn't that bad.
David Johnson had 2 different offensive coordinators. They changed the offense halfway through the season. He had no quarterback.
Yeah, and he was able to jump out of a pool.
And he had I'm just saying, he's not too old. He's not too injured. He's in good shape. He's ready to go. And now he's got an offensive coordinator who is going to have everybody hurry up to the line of scrimmage. We're running 4 wide receivers. We're going to throw it to DJ out of the backfield. He's my surprise jumping running back for this season.
Okay, I'm going to counter Sean's initial point that he wasn't that bad. He didn't break 50 yards until week 5.
Who?
David Johnson. These are his rushing yards the first 5 weeks of the year. 37, 48, 31, 70. I'm sorry, no, week 4, 71.
Okay, but wait. Do you have the attempts too? Because
Yes, that's true.
it was tough with that team because there was very little talent. You had a receiver and a running back, and that was it for the offense.
But here's the thing: to get to
at
20,
season's end, where did he end up?
I have to look
Top
that up. I don't
10.
have it in front of my. Yes, because he turned it on. He didn't break 100 yards until week 11.
But at the end of that means at the end of the year he turned it on.
No.
He only broke 100
No.
yards once all year.
No.
Once
Yeah.
all year.
Once. Because he was able
He
to jump
had
out of a pool.
22 carries for 71 yards against Seattle.
Okay.
We could carry the ball 22 yards for that's less
Do you know
than
where
4
David
yards
Johnson
a
would
carry.
be amazing? Green Bay.
You guys are so stubborn because you called that David Johnson wasn't as good. It's like he doesn't exist anymore. He wasn't good.
No,
we
he
said he
exists.
wasn't good. He wasn't good. That's it. He's out of the league.
exists.
Britt, I'm gonna
Sean's
say something
pointing.
here.
Please go ahead, because David Johnson is the next on the list, so we can just go to David
literally
Johnson.
had him one spot lower than me. Just one spot.
Yes, that's correct.
So
Doesn't matter.
And I did it begrudgingly.
Yeah, but you
one
did
spot.
it.
I did it.
I have my reservations about it, but
Yeah, but that's
You know,
deceptive.
He's on the Cardinals.
That's deceptive because you and I had him lower than anybody else. Of the people in this room, I'm looking at the numbers right now. You and I had him lower. So saying that I had him one spot worse than you is like saying Eli Manning is one spot less than Josh Rosen. We still have them both really low.
yes, our experts had him the highest.
And then
Yes.
me was one spot lower.
Then Cinch had a one spot lower than that. Craig was 2 spots lower than that, than you, than me.
In the first half of the season, in his first 8 games, he was over 4 yards per carry once. In that time, he had a multiple touchdown game once. His best games of the year in terms of yards per carry were Washington, KC, and Oakland.
Okay,
But see, this is what you're missing. You're doing a projection. You're doing a projection for next year.
Yes.
For this
last
season
year.
coming up.
Yes.
Last
You have a new head coach. You have a new quarterback.
Yep.
You have an
Yep.
entirely
A
new
rookie
offense.
quarterback.
Yep.
Okay. Yes, rookie quarterback. But if that rookie is better than the rookie from last year,
Is he?
Is he? We don't
You're
know.
asking me? I
Here's
think
the thing.
yes.
Here's the thing, though.
Okay.
We have no idea. There's been college quarterbacks who have been amazing, and they get to the NFL and they don't know what to do.
Dave Brown.
one who's in the Mets minor league organization.
Exactly.
Yeah, Tim
That's
Tebow's
my
in the
point.
College
But
Hall of Fame.
But
That's
it's
my
all
point.
it's all about projecting. You're projecting what's going to happen this
But-
year.
Yes.
I understand and I know what the stats were from last year.
Right.
Projecting what's going to happen, I think David Johnson goes up a little.
But back to your original question, does Gordon go lower? I feel yes. I would probably rank Bell and Mixon over him. Maybe Connor too.
I have all of those guys higher
They
than
might
David
be
Johnson.
higher than him after this whole holdout talk. Then comes David Johnson. So to me, man, I don't know
Really-
if I would do that.
really-
And again, we're not saying this is the third best to the 15th best. They're all within
No,
one or two.
yes.
But I think the real question is Gordon going to hold out into the season? Because if
I
he's
think
going to
so.
go, if
I'm
he's going to
snake bit
go
from last year.
okay, but if
So
he's going to go
Gordon's not on
into
my
the
list.
season, if he's going into the season, I don't want to draft him. I'll draft the next guy down.
I'll draft the next
I'll just
guy
let
down.
somebody else take him
Yep.
and worry about it.
I think last year before Bell held out all year, we were a little bit more lenient. Now that we've
Snake bit.
seen that a guy will hold out an entire year to get
Snake
the hell
bit.
out of a town, I don't think it's outside the realm possibility that Melvin Gordon sits out the entire year. I don't think it's a problem.
So
with him.
He will.
if you're
I
up to
think
draft him,
definitely
do you
he'll be
skip
able.
him?
There's too many people talking.
Sorry.
No,
I
Sean.
definitely think that eight games or whatever. What's the minimum that they have to do?
I think it's week 6.
They have to show
They
up
have
by
to
week
show by
6.
week 6.
If it's whatever it is, I think he'll definitely do that. Definitely do that. So you have to adjust your rankings to that.
But what you're looking at is if you don't take him in, say, round 2 at the latest, someone else is going to take him.
Then fine.
I'm fine with that.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'll let somebody else take him. If he's there in round 6, all right, well, now I've got to take him.
Right.
But
Yep.
I'm not going to take him really high up in the draft.
Yep.
Right.
Where he would go if he was there.
Yep.
Right. I have no faith in David Johnson this year. Craig, finish this out before we move on.
But Ezekiel Elliott, somehow we think that he's going
None.
to sign.
I still don't think. I think the Cardinals have a lot to prove, and just it doesn't matter. Like, if everyone around you is not that good, like, David Johnson just isn't going to be spectacular. He was able to jump out of a pool last year. Whoop-de-doo. So what did he prove? Nothing. He's injury prone.
And we
That's all
had
he
him at like
proved.
5 or 6 last year too.
He was still in the top 10.
We
We
had
just
a-
said he wasn't in the top 5.
Yeah, I don't
Wait.
have it.
Where did Craig rank David Johnson?
Stand by.
850th.
I'm looking around the mic. Craig had
If he
David
was on our
Johnson.
team, he would be a lot higher for me.
But my only point is, Craig had him
7.
somewhere.
7.
Seven.
He's still
Okay,
in the top
so,
10.
See, that's my point. You had him ranked as the 7th running back.
Yes.
I have had him
In,
lower.
okay, but wait. In theory, so you're saying in theory that you would probably take him in the 3rd round. I think that's safe to say if you're ranking him 7th.
Yeah.
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 And
3rd, maybe
I
top
personally
of the 4th.
would not draft him, but yes.
My only point is, for as much as you and Britt say, this guy, no way, can't do it, no talent around him, he's not going to
in
elevate
all-
everything.
it comes down
all
to
that
that
being
cliff.
said, he's not terrible.
He doesn't want you to drink all of it. It is not
Just
communicating
handed
well.
me a can. I don't know.
See, this is why we need Facebook Live.
See, so my only point
Here,
is,
no,
as bad as you're saying David Johnson is, he's still a top 10 running back.
Probably.
And if he's
yes, but
if
me
he's
personally, I would not draft him.
okay, but if he's a top 10 running back, that means in a 10-player PPR league, he's going to go in the top 4, maybe 5.
probably
Then
is.
I'll pass on him.
Yeah.
Pass.
All right, we got to move on. We're running out of time,
All
believe
right,
it or
here
not.
we
We're
go.
spending entirely too much time on somebody who's not as good as David Johnson. So we have David Johnson at 7. I'm going to run through the last of the top 10. We got James Conner at number 8. I feel like he has a lot to prove. I don't have a lot of faith in Pittsburgh. Go ahead,
I don't
real
like
quick.
his talent. I think he's a product of the system.
And bottom
So,
line, I've
He's
been on
still
this
in the
podcast.
same system.
Yeah,
Wait,
I know.
He's a system running back?
He might be a system running back. I've been on this podcast before. I think he's going to get he's going to get vultured by Benny Snell. I
Good.
don't think he's going to have as many goal
Little
line
Benny
carries as people
Snell.
think.
By who?
Benny Snell. All right, so he was number 8. Number 9 we have is Le'Veon Bell. Again, guy with a lot to prove. Could be great, could be terrible. Number 10 consensus is another guy. Has to prove something to me, is Dalvin Cook, and that's where I'm going with this. So you got the 8, 9, and 10. This should be the end of the RB1 category. So here, Sean is hitting himself. Why are you beating yourself?
Because I can't believe there's someone not in the top 10 that's
when we
lower.
get to him, bring him up.
All right.
All right, so we've got Connor, Bell, and Dalvin Cook. All 3 guys with something to prove. Who do
Yep.
you got, Craig? You
I
got to take one
Bell.
of them.
Of all those teams, the Jets have the most potential.
I know who he's looking at, too. I just realized who's who he's looking at. Cinch, Bell, Cook, or who's the other guy?
Cook is the
Connor.
guy. Cook is
Connor.
the guy. He's in. Well, see, Connor is good. He's going to do what he does because he's in Pittsburgh. It all works out. Cook is a guy who, if he could stay healthy, he could burst through.
Okay.
The new offensive coordinator. I can't think of his name. Elway's former backup quarterback, used to be the Texans head coach. Anyone in the room that's paying attention, that's sober.
I'm trying to move us along. Because we're
He's got a
actually
new
running out of time.
offensive coordinator. I can't think of the guy's name, but they're very proficient running the ball. I think Cook could have a bust out year.
Okay.
All right.
Craig.
Real quick. Me, it would be Bell, then Connor, then Cook.
So you're back in Bell. Cinch is back in Cook. You said Bell.
Yeah, I did say Bell.
So no one here is really high on Connor out of those 3. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. All right, we're moving-
Real quick. Gary Kubiak. Couldn't think of his name.
Okay. Got to move it along, guys. We are literally almost out of time, and we've
wow.
just finished the top 10. Seriously, we're 40 minutes in the podcast. We're only through 10 people, so we got to start moving this along. So number 11 is Todd Gurley. This is the guy that Sean's upset about. I know. No, you're shaking your head. I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
Tell me why Todd Gurley should not be ranked at 11.
I mean, I'm assuming everyone's afraid of his knee, or But if you're not afraid of the concern, then why isn't he ranked higher? I mean, he was a top 3 running back most of his career. I mean, so why is he now all of a sudden 11?
Because arthritis doesn't go away.
Okay, and so you're concerned about the knee.
Yeah.
I mean,
What's the average
I don't-
year for a running back? 3 years, right? Well, here's a guy with an arthritic knee that's never going to get better, who was completely healthy in the Super Bowl and had no burst through the line.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely true. His entire playoff appearances were unremarkably bad.
Patriots
All
won the
right.
Super Bowl.
All right, something bad just happened in the Beat the Addicts League. I've got to divert for a second. So,
Okay.
we got Leonard Fournette at number 11.
But I don't think it's. I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's 11. I think he's better than
So
that.
we got Gurley at 11, Fournette at 12, another guy who was top 5 a year ago. I don't think there's a lot to say about Leonard Fournette other than he better prove himself this year.
Yeah, it's all about the question
Oh,
marks.
he just got hurt.
Oh,
Probably
Yeah,
did.
sad.
yeah.
Number 13, we've got Nick Chubb. Somebody tell me why
Really?
Nick Chubb's at number 13. Who ranked him the highest? Hold on, Nick
It's
Chubb.
probably
I
you.
did 13.
The experts and
It
then me.
was Sean. Sean gave Nick Chubb the highest vote of confidence.
Really?
Sean.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he gave him 8 points.
No, that's me. Oh, no, you're right. That's Sean.
That's Sean. You gave him I gave him 7. Actually, since you have
I
him
gave him
way
nothing.
down. You have him way
Yeah.
down.
He's all right. He's fine.
So, wow, okay.
I may have been drinking. I don't know.
Probably that's okay. Sean,
All right, Sean.
Sean,
Why?
defend Nick Chubb. You're not worried about the
Go.
cream hunt?
No,
Cleveland
no,
Browns.
no, not right.
Okay, moving on.
English.
I am not.
All right.
So Nick Chubb at number what is that? What number are we up to?
I mean, you said he was 13. I ranked him at 13.
13,
so
okay.
I,
There you
I
go.
can't say anything.
Kerryon Johnson we have at number 14.
do?
Craig, you have him really high.
Love Kerryon
I do.
Johnson.
Give me 30 seconds on why Kerryon Johnson should be number 14.
I just feel like Kerryon Johnson's going to have a breakout year this year. I think they're going to be finally adjusted to their new coach. Well, he's not new anymore, especially with the addition of their new tight end, who was the top college tight end in the draft. So that's just going to give them more flexibility. So I think Kerryon's going to have a good.
He's
TJ
tied-
Hawkinson.
When
Thank you.
Kerryon
Thank
Johnson
you.
finally got the full time, most of the time job, he produced.
Here's the problem with him. He's on a bad team.
Yes.
When you're
He
down
is.
21 in the second quarter,
Barry
it doesn't
Sanders
matter.
was on a bad team too.
Yeah, and he never
And he
made it to the
retired.
playoffs.
All right, so moving on. We have tied with him, believe it or not, Aaron Jones from the Packers. Sean is an Aaron Jones truther. Sean, 10 seconds or less. Why should we draft Aaron Jones?
I think it's a bias because I felt he was the best person on the Packers last year, and it took, I don't know, 8-10 weeks before they finally gave him the ball, and he produced. I think it full time with the ball, he's gonna be a good producer. I think
Yeah.
he's gonna be worth that 15. I mean, he's not gonna be top tier, but he's gonna be worth that 10 to 15 rank.
And I know Cinch agrees with you because Cinch also had him very high. The next guy down on the list is a guy I'm really high on and I think is getting a lot of bad press, and that's Devontae Freeman. I think Freeman's still got some gas in the tank, and now that Tevin Coleman isn't pushing him from behind,
That's the question.
don't
Gas
be
in the tank.
shocked if Freeman gets off to a big start this year. Grab Freeman late and sell early. Let me tell you that right now. Let me say it right now. This guy's injury history and his production history tells you use him for 4 or 5 weeks, and when he's leading the league in touchdowns after week 4, trade him.
Hey,
Agreed.
agreed. If you can get him late, then take him and ride the train.
Well, where we are ranking him is what, 6th round maybe, 7th round maybe.
Right around there, yeah.
The guy we're missing out on is one of the next guys.
Is it Damian Williams? Because he's the next guy.
Next guy down.
Next guy down is Damian Williams. I should be big on Damian Williams, and I'm not. This is number
Fine.
17 for us in the running back. Andy Reid's system breeds running backs. End of story. That's
volume
where I'm
in
at.
that system.
The volume in that system.
That's why he's that
But
Is he the guy?
yes,
So he's the number one guy.
yes, he is the guy
That's
there.
why he's rated where he is.
Volume in that system.
If
But a
he's
lo-
the real deal, he'll move up to a top 10 guy.
If he is, if he's not, we'll find out. And then
if
Carlos
he's
Hyde all of a
not,
sudden starts getting carries.
There you go.
Then
The next
after-
guy on your list,
Philip Lindsay.
Philip Lindsay. He's the guy who I like a
I
lot.
don't like.
You have him rated higher than anyone else.
Well, not anyone.
No, anyone else in
He's
this
not-
room.
Okay.
He did not make the top 20 of our experts list. Let's put it that way. Because of the Royce Freeman factor, I'm sure.
Royce
but tell me
Freeman
why
factor is
we're not
definitely
worried
there.
about Royce Freeman.
I have Freeman definitely higher than Lindsay.
Because Lindsay, I think, is the better of the two guys. And I think Lindsay, if he stays healthy, and again, you could say that about anybody, so forget I said if he stays healthy. But Lindsay is a guy who showed me the most last year of the two running backs. I think with Flacco there, I don't know why anyone would respect him throwing the ball because he throws the
He's
ball
a
like
game-
I do
He's
left-handed.
a game
He's a game
manager.
manager.
No, he isn't, because he throws it up for grabs and throws interceptions all the time. He's not a game manager.
He won
Alex
a
Smith
Super
is a
Bowl.
game manager. So did I 20 years ago.
Since doesn't
Alex
actually
Smith
have a
is a game manager. Flacco is chuck it and duck. Yeah, let me throw it up. Someone will catch it.
All right, moving on. The next guy. On our
Philip
list-
Lindsay.
I'm trying to get us
David
enough time.
Johnson.
Marlon Mack comes in at number 19. Marlon Mack, because you couldn't hear that just now when I said it.
I'm sorry.
Marlon Mack comes in at number 19, and Cinch is the highest guy on him. But I'm scared about what Cinch will say, so we're going to move on to number 20 on our list,
That's not right.
which is Josh Jacobs, the rookie in Oakland. A lot of hopeful folks on him, reaching for him. Only one of us didn't rank him, and the
was
one person
you.
who didn't rank him was me. So I'll open the floor for up to 30 seconds or so. Tell me why I should have ranked Josh Jacobs and why I'm going to regret it.
Because Gruden thinks it's 1992 and wants to run the ball 45 times a game.
Volume.
And this is the guy. He's going to run the
That's
ball
what
every
the
down.
theme of the
Volume,
last
volume,
two podcasts
volume.
is volume.
Volume, yes. That's
Turn up the volume.
Turn up the volume. There's the
And
subtitle
Mac,
for
I
this
think,
one.
is opportunity. Just
All
for
right.
Mac is on a team that's going to win.
Opportunity.
So that's the end of the top 20. So that's the end of the RB2s in the 10-person leagues.
Really? That's it?
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, Josh Jacobs going to be an RB2. So I'm just going to run through really quickly the rest of the Rams, and then we're going to argue about them.
Rest of the Rams?
Yep.
I'll
Rest
tell
of
you
the
one
Rams.
I have, yep.
Kenyon Drake, we have at number 21.
Wow.
Tariq Cohen at 22, followed by David Montgomery, his replacement at number 23. Number 24 is Mark Ingram. I'm the only one in the room who gave Mark Ingram a point, and I stand by it. Number 25 is Sony Michel. The only person who gave him a point in the room is the Patriot fan. And then number
I gave
26,
him 1 point.
for reasons I don't understand, Sean ranked Derrick Henry at like number 17.
I'm telling you,
You're the only one that ranked him.
He's the only one who gave Derrick Henry a point.
I don't know. I have a feeling
Yes.
their wide running back is not there anymore. Who was it? I don't
Their
know.
running back, they have Henry
Deion
and
Lewis?
they have Deion Lewis. They're both there. The
they-
quarterback is still there.
Okay.
He's not any good.
Yeah,
I
there hasn't
The
been a
think
change
offensive
there.
coordinator
Henry-
is gone, so maybe
Derrick
the coordinator.
Henry is going to run that offense.
And this time, he means it.
No, I think he is. I don't know why, but I think he's going to be the lead back.
Where you ranked him
Lead
isn't
back.
crazy. It's not like you said he's the fourth best.
No.
You ranked him in like top 20.
Yeah,
All right.
18.
Okay, 18. The difference between 18 and 22 is negligent. It's fine. I
All right.
don't think he's there, but whatever.
So moving on, because we're near wrap-up time, believe it or not. I'm going to run down the list again.
I
We
like
got-
Montgomery. I'm
Okay.
glad for you guys that did that.
Great, you need to stop talking now because we got to wrap this up. The four-man booth is turning into Congress, and we can't have that. All right, so number one, we've got Saquon Barkley. We've got Elliott at 2, Christian McCaffrey at 3, Alvin Kamara at 4, begrudgingly. Number 5 is Joe Mixon. Get on the train. Choo-choo.
Choo-choo.
Number 6 is Melvin Gordon, but we may move him down because his holdout looks like it's going to be prolonged. Number 7, we've got he who shall not be named in Arizona. Number 8 is James Conner.
Way too high.
Number 9 is Le'Veon Bell. And number 10 is Dalvin Cook. 11, we've got Todd Gurley, followed by Leonard Fournette at 12. Nick Chubb comes in at number 13. Kerryon Johnson at 14. And Aaron Jones rounds out the top 15. Number 16 is Devontae Freeman, mainly because I love him. Number 17 is Damian Williams, mainly because I love Devontae Freeman more than Damian Williams. Number 18 is Philip Lindsay, mainly because Cinch loves him. Number 19 is Marlon Mack, because we think Indy's going to be better. Number 20 is Josh Jacobs, because it's Gruden. It's good old-time foreign football. Number 21 is Kerryon Drake. 22 is Tariq Cohen. 23 is David Montgomery, which is a ranking I think I will live to regret not giving him higher.
I think he's going to outperform that.
Number 24 is Mark Ingram. Number 25 is Sony Michel. And we round out the top with number 26, Derrick Henry. All right, so before we move on to final thoughts, which is your RB RB plans, in that, who's the one guy in the bottom half of this list that is going to possibly shock us and end up in the top 10? In the bottom half
10?
of this list. Well, you know what? Let's just take like the bottom 7 or 8. So I'm going to count from the bottom. Derrick Henry, Sony Michel, Mark Ingram, David Montgomery, and Tariq Cohen. Let's take the bottom 5 on our list. Which one of those has the best chance? Not saying pick one to crack the top 10, but if you said, well, if one of them's going to make it, it's going to be this guy. Who do you got? Let's start with Craig.
Out of those guys, Tariq.
You think Tariq Cohen,
I
if
think
anybody's
so.
going to make it, Tariq Cohen's going to
It's
make
going to
it.
be him.
Sean.
Who are the top 5 guys?
So the 5 names are Derrick Henry, Sony Michel, Mark Ingram, David Montgomery, and Tariq Cohen. Who would shock you the least making the top 10?
The least.
Yeah, who would be the least shocking?
Oh, least shocking was for me is Henry because I have him at 8 anyway.
Okay,
So
there you go,
I think
cinch.
he's going to be a focus point.
I don't think any of them are there.
But if one snuck in,
I've got to pick one. I might pick Montgomery. I don't think any of
Because
them
I
are
don't
there.
think Mike Davis and that's true. Montgomery might be that guy just because I don't think Davis is going to be the workhorse and Cohen is just the
I don't think Sony
the special
Michel
guy.
will be healthy for 16 games.
Okay.
Based on what the Patriots did in the playoffs.
and the Patriots don't use one running back. They're a much more system oriented and game planning oriented team.
Yeah.
I like David Montgomery. I probably should have given him more points. He should have been higher on the list. I backed Mitchell Trubisky. If the Bears win 3 games this year, I may never be listened to again. Final thoughts time. Give me a running back or a prediction about running backs that you think is a bold take. Let's start with Mr. Craig.
Same thing I have been saying. I think Kenyon Drake is going to break the top 15
sweet
running backs.
Jesus.
Wow.
Plays-
How?
I don't
That's a fair question.
because of Fitzmagic.
Oh, Jesus.
That's
Again,
why.
Fitzmagic is the backup.
Is he?
Yes, he is.
Is he?
Still yes.
No. I
Hold
don't
on, let me
think so.
check. Yes.
yes,
No,
he is.
he's still the starting
Wait,
quarterback.
let me see if
as
it
of right-
changed.
It's a
As,
fair it's
as
a
of
fair
right
question.
now, he is still the starting
Oh,
quarterback
fair
in Miami.
question. It's
And
just
I think do not sleep on Kenyon Drake this year.
if they haven't been good yet, why would Drake be good now? Moving on.
Cinch, what's your bold take?
I think Dalvin Cook is going to have a really good year.
I thought that way last year.
Yeah,
did.
I
and
was
how
younger.
But see, here's the thing. Everybody out there who does fantasy,
Yeah.
how many times have you picked a guy and said this guy's going to be big, and you were off by one season?
Oh, like every year
This
of
is
my
the
career.
this is the one season. Dalvin Cook has the right offensive coordinator, has a good enough quarterback, a
Yeah,
good
but
enough
can he
tight
stay
end,
healthy?
and good enough receivers.
Can he not be hurt?
I'm banking on him. Yes, I'm saying he will.
All right, Sean.
I mean, I can see Cook doing that. He can be from me for 11. He could be in the top 10 easily.
That's one spot.
Well, it's one spot, but he could be higher than 3 or 4 more people. I think Kerryon Johnson could be in the same position. I have him at 15. I could see him in the top 10. I think he's that good. So,
Okay.
especially with that offense, and I think Stafford is better than what people are telling telling everyone else is. So,
Okay. For me, we've got Barkley, Zeke, McCaffrey, and Kamara in the top 4. I'm going to tell you right now, my hot take is one of those, and only one of those guys is going to end up in the top 3. There it is. There's my hot take. Only one of them is going to end up in the top 3.
Only one
Why
of
are
them.
people flipping each other off?
Hey,
What is this?
real quick. Is there a guy that we haven't mentioned that you could see getting up into the worthy of mention? Put it that way. Top 15, maybe
Ito
top
Smith.
20.
Ito
No.
Smith?
No. Honestly,
Penny.
Frank Gore.
I mean, Jerick McKinnon is still floating around in San Francisco,
He's
and
on
no
the-
one's
he's
really
on the
clear.
PUP
Jared
list.
McKinnon.
He's on the PUP list, but he's not done for the year, right?
What about Penny in Seattle? Penny, maybe? If he takes over the job?
Penny?
I mean,
Penny?
CJ
Penny?
Anderson's in
Yeah,
Detroit, and you never know what's going to happen there. I'm hearing Theo Riddick's probably going to get cut. So, anyway,
New offensive coordinator in Tennessee. Deion Lewis could potentially
see,
pop.
I think Derrick
if Derrick Henry. Well, see, that's the thing.
I think it's the other way around.
They've got 2 guys. If one guy isn't there, then it's all on the other guy.
Right.
So one of those 2 could pop and become high.
an interesting debate for us to continue off the air because, believe it or not, we are completely out of time. Next week, we will be back with the wide receiver rankings, and then after that, our everybody else rankings because we just don't feel like spending an entire episode on tight ends. So, in the meantime, leave us a review wherever you listen to us. If you have any questions, send us a tweet at FignutsDFS or email us, fignutsdfs@gmail.com. We thank you, as always, for listening. I thank our guest contributors for making time to both come down here tonight. And it's a very warm, very crowded booth, but we appreciate everyone getting in here and giving their opinions because it really was fantastic. I'm warm. Until then, next week, I am Britt.
I'm Craig.
Hey, Green Bay, Rodgers is overrated.
I'm
And
Sean.
we are the Football Fig Nuts Podcast. Good night, everybody.